Hey everybody, it's Doug T, running in the dark. Today I got a special guest on here. I've known him for a long time. From Columbus, Indiana, 5-time state champ. Was held back 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Bodart.
Yeah. Five-time state champ. And everyone's like, the hell is he talking about? State champ of what?
I don't know. Were you
All
a state
of it.
champ? Were you a state champ at anything?
No,
Me
but
neither.
I've won a couple of church league basketball championships, so it's basically there.
Yeah, that's great. I played on slow pitch softball, co-ed for years.
Yeah.
Until a guy
yeah.
on my team took a ball in the face, and I was like, what am I doing? I played shortstop, and he was in the outfield. He lost his job.
When you say he was in the outfield, you mean the band, I assume?
Yes, he was on a vacation very far away, and Chauncey hit a line drive straight to the face. Have you ever examined the lyrics of that song? I just want to use your love tonight.
Yeah, it's an assault, I think. I mean, it's a
Oh my God.
I think it's about glorifying an assault. I mean, at least they're direct. I mean, they're up front.
They're fast. They're quick. They let you know right away that, hey, look, what's the first line?
Josie's on a vacation far away.
He's going to cheat.
Yeah.
What's the next line?
All I know is it sounds like.
Maybe. Well, I really hope somebody is listening to this on a car stereo with their windows open at a stoplight, and that comes over their speaker system. I think I need to look these up, buddy. I think I need to look them up.
Okay.
Because we'll see how close we can get. Outfield, right? What's the name of the song?
Well, I think they only just have the one song, so it's not gonna be hard to find it. They just have that one. I think they broke up before it was released. We're like, you know what? This is probably gonna be it. We already know we don't like each other. We're done.
The last microphone that guy said anything into was pump 4. It's on for the red car. Okay, here it is. Josie's on a vacation far away.
Yeah.
Come around and talk it over.
Going around and talking over. It's
so
just like
many
the band.
things that I want to say. You know, I like my girls a little bit
Older?
Yes.
Older.
I just want to use. I just want to use your love tonight.
Yeah. I got to tell you, that is some clever lyric writing right there.
Oh my God! Can you imagine any other setting that would be said to somebody?
I no.
And it seems like a really one-sided conversation. The other person hasn't said anything yet.
No. They're flabbergasted is what they are.
I ain't got many friends left to talk to. Nowhere to run when I'm in
I don't know.
trouble.
Oh. Got
You
it.
know I'd do anything for you. Stay the night, but keep it undercover.
Yeah, I
He's
got to hear it.
cheating.
And yeah. He's like, I gotta get this done. Let me get my pants off, and then we're gonna be done, and then I'll get it back on. But don't say anything about it, you know.
Here's the other part, Jeff. Try to stop my hands from shaking, but something's in my mind's not making sense. It's been a while since we were all alone. I can't hide what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
As you're leaving, please would you close the door and don't forget what I told you.
Oh, he's making her leave.
He remember he said earlier in the song, "Come on over and talk it over."
Yeah, that's true.
So Josie's bed is being used by this guy and this temptress.
This is despicable. He's like, hey, I finished with you, yet to getting, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Just 'cause you're right don't mean I'm wrong. Another shoulder to cry upon. I just want to use your love tonight.
wow. Well, I gotta tell
I don't
you,
know, man. I don't like this guy anymore.
I don't either. I don't like the cut of his jib.
we've probably lost all the listeners that we had, all 17.
Yeah. They're like, all right.
Of
Skip,
them.
skip, skip, skip. How does this categorization go? Skip, skip,
Yeah.
skip.
So talk to us. You've been on the ships a lot.
Yeah, I've been on the cruise ships for a while now.
How Chopin was telling me, how many, like, what's your layout with that? Like, walk us through a night or several nights. How's it work?
Well, if I'm doing a ship that has a comedy club on it, I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 shows a night, and I might have one night off. So I might actually be doing about 14 shows or so in the week. Maybe a little more. It depends. And then usually you're in the comedy club all week and you're doing the same, 20, 25 minutes in the comedy club. And then you're going to get to probably the theater. And so you basically do like the last night of the cruise, you will do 2 more shows, one family friendly that's different than everything you've done as far as material goes, and another adult, which is another 20, 25 minutes. Again, different from the family friendly and then different than what you've done all week. So it's, 14 or so shows depending, like I said. But if I'm doing a theater on the cruise ship, I'm doing 1 to 3 shows in that cruise. So
Right.
if it's a 5-night cruise or 7-night cruise, I'm probably going to be doing 1 to 3 shows. If it's just a few nights, I might just be doing 1 show. But I might be on that ship for 2 weeks, but they'll have like 2 to 4 cruises in 2 weeks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
isn't that overwhelming? Trying to remember what's what?
yeah, and then I have several set lists that I've written,
Right.
and you might ask yourself, hey, why not use the set list you wrote 2 weeks ago? It's like, well, I don't always remember that this set list is for this isn't for this. So then I end up writing another set list. And but the good thing is, the act of writing a set list is a good way to remember what you're going to do that night.
Right.
And but because I know my act, it's just I don't remember the order that I'm going to go in that night. So I do a lot of like I can do that, but I don't normally do them together. So I'll put these together.
See, I can't. I have a real problem right now to set list. It kills me.
Really?
Man, I tell you what, I can't do it. In it's like what you just said, but what I do is then I question the joke when I see it written down. I write the premise. I go, I don't know, does that joke fit there? So I start to worry about it. So all I really try to do most of the time is just find that first one in my head, and then because otherwise, man, it messes me up. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I start to question the joke.
Yeah, the standards of stage mechanics and that I adhere to, the standards, the bar gets a little lowered on cruise ships because the bits are not even connected sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, so anyway, and then that's my segue for that. I'm talking about.
It's like you're walking and you tripped, and then or you went like the Flash, and all of a sudden just now you're here, and everybody's like, what happened? How did you get there?
If I just talked aloud what I was doing, I'd be like, so anyway, I know you see me walking over to the stool here because I'm going to look down real quick to see what the next bit that I wrote down that I was going to do. So yeah, that's what you call I'm cheating. I'm cheating that, all right. So anyway, and then, because that's what it is. I kind of like gradually walk back, glance down, and then go back forward again, to do the bit.
How could you not? I would be like, total.
Yeah.
That's so much. I mean, the level of, and not only that, you got to remember, did I do this? If you're in a set and you don't have it written down, you'd be thinking, did I do this in the early show or the yesterday show?
Oh, yeah.
That happens anyway.
Especially if you're doing a 3-week run on cruise ships, and then you get to the end of the final run, And then you're like, wait, did I do this? You did, but it was other shows that weren't on this particular cruise.
Yeah.
So you're like,
do you have like a calendar thing that you check it off?
well, if I'm smart, and that rarely happens. But if I'm smart, I'll make a note because I will look at my set list right afterwards and you're like, okay, I did that. I didn't do that. So if I'm smart, I will write down the things that I didn't do and then on a separate sheet of paper or on my phone or something, and then just put it on the next set list. But sometimes I remember to do that, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'll even tell the crowd, like, look, I don't remember exactly what I did the other night. So if you hear something, I've already done, suck it up.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Because you might have other people coming out like, oh, I heard you're really funny, so I missed your first show. And so that's just kind of for them. That's what that, if it does happen, I end up repeating a bit. I don't mean to, but I'm like, well, it's fine. Those people didn't hear it. So
nobody cares, right?
No, really they don't. They're just there to have a good time. And if you're, and I tell comics this all the time, and I've told comics this for years. If you're likable on stage, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, I agree.
So they will forgive you if you've done something, one or two bits they've heard before. Like, oh, well, he's very funny, but we like him, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, what's weird is that you said that somebody asked me the other day about people, if you get heckled or somebody's disruptive. And I said, somebody told me once, and I think it was Mark Sweeney said to me, like before I was going on, and I think I was featuring in front of him, and he said, are you going to say something to that guy? And I can't remember if it was him or somebody. And I said, well, should I? And he goes, yeah, once you get the crowd on your side. And I was like, oh, like he said, if you go up starting like that, they'll hate you. And
I know. Yeah, that's right.
And that kind of like, I thought, okay, well, that opened my eyes because I didn't know that part of it, Stuff you learn, like little trinkets you learn of information.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like being on them? I mean, is it grueling? Is it, obviously you like being on them because you get to do your work. Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that I have a lot of free time to work on because I write constantly on the ships. Because if I don't feel like I'm something productive a little bit, I just feel awful. It's like, I gotta look at that, you dummy, you wasted a whole day.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I should be taking advantage of my time on there. It does get to be quite honest, it does get a little overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you're just with I don't want to say all comics are depressed, but a lot of comics are depressed. And it can get out of hand if you have a lot of time to think. And if you have a lot of time, and if you go 3-4 days before your next show, you're like, oh my God, so I just keep busy. I walk and I write jokes. But yeah, it does help to have a project, So.
And so my project used to be drinking. I gave that up.
Yeah,
so now I do all kinds of shit now like this. This is to keep me from what you just talked about in life. Because if you're off the road and not working, we have creative brains, and if left to our devices, it gets like ugly. You start to get in your own head. And I know you have, like right behind you, those I'm assuming those drawings are yours right there, right?
Yeah, the drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, though I did all of it.
So is that one of your creative outlets aside from writing, or?
Yeah, there you go. There's the Beatles right there.
There's Paul, there's
Paul.
Ringo, right? Yes, there's John.
There's Ringo.
Too.
Yeah.
John was a bit younger then, wasn't he? He's a whipper. That's back when he had the boots. Go on.
Yeah, that's right. He did actually. But yeah, I draw a lot. I can't always draw on the ship because I need a lot of space. I need like a desk, and I need, and I did see a guy drawing the other day, and he was really good. I mean, better than my stuff. And he was using just an easel, And I'm like, oh, and like I can't draw when it's a flat, vertical plane.
Yeah.
I have to have it tilt a little bit. So
It's like a 45er.
Yeah,
like 45.
yeah. Well, I shouldn't do that.
We both did. This mustache is. This microphone's right. The microphone's right here.
Well, his mustache is off, but I know what he was doing.
Your hat kind of somehow looks like a candelabra. They're going after that or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but what I would say is, have you tried a different style of art while you're on the boats? Like maybe watercolor, like the landscape as you're with pastels or something.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'm really good at creating a mess. Yeah. And anything paint related, I'm just awful at.
Well, use like chalk pastels, but I don't know if you want to have chalk on a boat. That might be one of the non-essentials in case of a shipwreck.
But there's also people walking by like, what is that guy doing? That guy is clearly indoorsy. He should be indoors right now. There's no way he should be out.
Those old boat shoes. You got boat shoes on.
Yeah.
A big umbrella hat.
Yeah.
Excuse me, folks. Can you see? I got a 16:9 in my mind here. Can you move it, please?
I should just take a pad with me, a pad of paper.
Yeah.
And then
I figured that's what you were talking about.
But I like a big desk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should just take a pad of paper with me and some pencils and maybe a blending stump or two, and then just something.
What the hell's a blending stump?
It's basically there's what's called a tortillon. There's also a blending stump. It's basically tightly compacted paper, and it's wound. And a blending stump is maybe not quite that, but it's basically paper, and you use it to smooth and to blend areas of graphite or charcoal. I don't like charcoal because again it's real messy.
Okay.
So.
Well, the lines are open if you want to call in and ask Jeff about that.
Jeff, I have a problem with my Pinocchio drawing. I can't quite seem to get the shading on the nose right. Well,
yeah.
You get yourself a blending stump, you'll be all right.
Okay.
You newbie.
I don't know this stuff.
No, I know.
Now, when
I
you're
also
on
use beauty blenders, like makeup, those spongy beauty blenders. I use those too. That was my secret for a little while, and then I told some people, I'm like, it's fine. They can know.
Spongy what do you call it?
It's called a beauty blender.
Oh, okay.
It's people who wear makeup, like they blend all the, foundation with everything else, I guess.
All right. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Weird, wacky stuff. When do you go back out? You just got home yesterday?
I got home yesterday, and I leave Thursday. What is today?
Wednesday. Tuesday. Sorry.
Oh, God. Yeah. So I
Isn't
leave.
It weird?
Yeah. So I leave in 2 days, and I'm going to be gone on this next one for 8 days.
Yeah.
And then I'm back for a few days, and then I got to go to Wichita at the Looney Bin Comedy Club, and then and then straight to Tulsa after that. So, and then I'm back home, and then back on a cruise ship, I believe.
Do you get out at the ports and walk around the islands, or do you not do that?
I do just to break the monotony of the day or of the week. And I will go walk around, and it's probably someplace I've been to. And I know it sounds like I'm complaining, and I'm trying not.
I don't think so. It's work.
It's
work.
But it is work. People are on vacation, and so I watch all these people on vacation, and they're all happy. And I'm like, oh, what's that like? And
grab out the pad of paper.
Well, that's amazing that they're happy. Man, it's going to be great when I get there. Yeah. But I walk around like Cozumel, and then I get berated with people like, hey, you saw the shop, come see my shop. I'm like, No, you got the same shit he has. I don't.
It's all within the
This
same
is
50
this
cents.
is carving out of this is real bonefish. I'm like, I don't even think you know what bonefish is.
I don't even know what bonefish is.
I don't either. But
I think it's a grill, right? Isn't that a restaurant? Bonefish
It's
Grill
a restaurant.
or
I think bonefish.
Okay.
Bonefish
Folks,
or
we'd
bone
like to talk
something.
to-
And I'm like,
That's probably a good
You know?
segment for our sponsor. Hold on, I got to talk about these things. Yeah,
Okay.
they're these new. I don't know if you can see those.
oh,
Yeah,
the
there's these
bullet?
new.
What is that?
No, it's a pill. Well, they're suppository.
Oh,
Throat
okay.
lozenge for your asshole. That's they're called Ease-Its, and it's supposed to help like if you can't go to the
Is that-
bathroom.
Oh,
Seriously?
Is it really a suppository?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Do you
now,
remember
does
getting
your
these?
wife?
They also
walk-
hand out this applicator with it. I use it as a guitar
That's
slide.
not a- Does your wife just walk in the bathroom and goes, just relax, huh? Yeah, just relax. And she has a mocking tone. Yeah,
Can
just
you
like,
imagine?
Yeah.
Do you remember getting those as a kid, though? I do.
Suppositories?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I mean,
I
I'm
was in the
Catholic,
hospital.
but I've never had anybody try that on.
I was in the hospital with like asthma and croup, and a lot of times they didn't have shit to get, like regular medicine for some reason. But it's also the same thing with sticking thermometers up there. There had to have been a different way. Think about how little.
Are you from the 20s? What are you?
When I was a kid, dude, they took
You're
temperature
only
that
a
way.
few years older than me, right?
Well, we went to different doctors, and maybe you were more sophisticated. And where was it from that you were state champ?
Did you have to walk through the woods to get to your doctor?
No, but the horse did. We were behind it. Hey, by the way, you said something earlier that I instantly about went into dance. You said just to break the monotony.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Me being bored on cruise ships. That's where that's
No,
from.
let me say it again. Just to break the monotony
I
of
don't-
all
is
that's
it-
gotten to be a little bit out of control. It's cool to dance. And what about the things that do romance?
Is that
Give me
is
a
that
soft,
Dougie
subtle
Fresh?
bliss. Da. Summertime.
Oh, okay.
Will Smith.
Will Smith. I said Dougie Fresh.
Yeah,
That is not.
that was my nickname
Yeah.
growing up, Dougie Fresh. I
Was
don't
it
know
really?
why. Yeah, back in the 20s when I got the
thought it
thermometer and
was-
suppositories shoved up
I
my
was gonna say I
ass.
thought it was butt pill. There's the butt pill kid.
Ass lozenge.
There are the garbage pail kids, but there's also butt pill kids.
Did you get into Garbage Pail Kids?
No, but I wrote a bit about it, and
Yeah.
and I've told the bit to a couple of people, and they're like in their 30s, and they don't get it. And I'm like,
Was that a sold out show?
No, what do you mean? No.
You said I told it to a couple of people. I said, was that a sold out
Oh,
show?
how
You missed
dare you, sir?
But you know what? That's comedy jujitsu. You blocked what I said and acted like you didn't hear it. That's even better.
Yeah, I'm just listen. It's either that or I'm tired. I don't know. You know.
So tell me the bit though. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was being funny.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know if you want me to do it. We do a brand new bit on here, basically talking. Well, I basically just talk.
Well,
about
don't do it
tarot
if you
cards.
don't want to talk about it, because then people think like that's not funny. If you don't want, tell me off the air if you want.
No, I can. I mean, I'll give you basically the joke. It's not. I'm still memorizing, and it's a really long bit. I don't even know if it's funny, but I talk about having. You ever get a tarot card reading? And if you don't know, they can be interesting and they can be also ridiculous. There's normal stuff like cups, wands, pentacles, the death card. That's regular tarot stuff. But then there's also there are all kinds of tarot decks that you can get, different themes, and then there's also people who make their own tarot cards. And I got to thinking, what if there were a Garbage Pail Kids themed tarot deck? And I thought, wow, this is hilarious. And I thought, you know what? Let me verify real quick. So I got on Amazon And wouldn't you know it, some other asshole thought of Garbage Pail Kids tarot deck, and I was like, son of a bitch, I thought I was going to Larry the Cable Guy my way into fame. Because I thought this was hilarious. And when I say I was crestfallen, it was worse than the time my mom told me I was going to be out back in the 3rd grade while on the way to the grocery store. Like, she tried, like, when we need to get some milk and some eggs and some bread, and you're going to be held back in the 3rd grade. We're going to need some lettuce, and I'm like, what was that? What was the other thing you just said there? So
that's aisle 4.
That's how I got
where
bad
you're
news
not
in
heading
my
to.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I wrote this whole thing about Garbage Pail Kids thing, but then again, I thought people also make their own, and I thought, what if you get a reading from a homemade tarot deck, and somebody, oh, you got the big wiener card. Well, that means, that means new life. It represents maybe how rigid your life is, or you're going to get somebody that sell you big wiener pills in an email. Yeah. So it just goes on from there. But they didn't get the Garbage Pail Kids rinse. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do the bit, because I have to, I don't know, have people 40 and up, in my crowd.
Could you change it to Pokemon or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But then that takes it out of my era. It takes it out of mine.
Yeah.
But so I guess I could say something to the effect of, we kids pretend I said, Pokemon or whatever.
What if you did like celebrity baseball card? Like, this is, like all of a sudden somebody gets a porn star. You know what I mean? Celebrity tarot cards or something.
I got the Ricky Schroeder.
I think you're going to have the same boat if you refer to Ricky Schroeder. Yeah. What show was he on? That was pretty big, though. He was like a police officer.
That was NYPD Blue, but he was also on Silver Spoons.
I remember with
Silver.
And do you know who else was on there? Who was the asshole?
I don't know.
One of today's biggest stars, I would say.
Was it Jason Bateman?
Yes.
Yes, I knew it. Jason Bateman.
Folks, this is a good time to talk about our other sponsor, Memoranda Books. If you need memories, like Jeff has, knowing that was Jason Bateman, Memoranda.
Jason Bateman. We're watching, I was at my parents' house
who else was
night.
on there? Not to interrupt you. Who else was on there?
Webster wasn't on there, was he?
No, but we'll probably get an email about this. Alfonso
Ribeiro?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's when he was. Yeah, that's true. He was on that. That Pepsi commercial before he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Much later, yes.
Yeah.
The hot lady from Battlestar Galactica was on there too, I believe. She had her hair feathered.
Yeah, she was did she play the girlfriend of the dad?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. She was attractive.
I really liked that.
How did we
get there?
He had his part. He also had a feather, but it was like over a little bit. I remember that. It kind of drove me crazy a little bit.
Did you ever want hair like the one dude on WKRP? Not Johnny Fever, but the other dude that like Lonnie and everybody thought was hot.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I referred to that for a haircut once. I wanted it feathered like that.
Now, not I know I don't want to get off topic here, but along with hair, there is, if you look up the cover of the album called Come By Me by Harry Connick Jr., that is the hair that I want. That is the kind of hair. I would love to have that luxurious hair on my head. So if you look up that album.
Look it up. I'm looking it up right now. What is it called?
It's called Come By Me. Not B-U-Y, but B-Y. Come By Me. By Harry Connick Jr. Back when I had a radio show many years ago, and with comedian Matt Holt and Jeff Oskay, who was later on the cast.
Yeah, I know those guys.
But we had a segment on the show called Whose Hair Would You Want? And that was always my go-to.
I see it.
Yeah.
Kind of long, right?
kind of long. But,
Almost Tony Hawkish. Almost Tony Hawkish.
Yeah. It's good looking hair. Everybody look it up. So, anyway,
what about the back of it, where it was kind of like coming down and he's pointing at the camera like that?
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't mullety. It was just
it had that really thick mushroom head type
it
look.
Was thick here and then it tapered up in the back. But I would just kill for a full set of hair now.
I just had to cut mine off. It was long and sticking out, and it looked. I thought it looked great, but then I saw a video of me on stage from the side. I was like, "Well, this has got to go."
Yeah. Yeah,
it looked terrible. It like one side looks good, and the other side it would just look like a helmet of hair. I was like, I can't do it.
It's weird how a video crushes your dreams. That's why I don't do porn.
Well, I tell you what, they would. I don't know if I could. I'm not that guy anymore, but I don't think I could watch it. I first of all, I have daughters, so it's weird, Not that there's not guys out there, but I just think I don't know if I want them going through my phone if I had a heart attack and they're like, what is this shit,
Yeah.
I have to think about that. Do you think about that ever? Do you like not about porn, but do you think about things you did as a kid?
I don't know, like running?
Running?
Yeah, I don't run.
No, things you did as a kid that are just different than what kids do now. Like,
I don't know. I can't think of anything specific because I think kids still do most of the things that I did as a kid. They're constantly in a hurry. I know that.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of sports because I played a lot of sports as a kid.
Yeah.
So,
but I think their daily activities of coming home and doing things as a family have changed dramatically. I think people, and parents included, get lost in their phone pretty easily.
Oh, absolutely. You see that on the cruise ship all the time, and you see people like a whole family sitting at dinner, and you're all on their phones. Like, what are you doing? Why do you talk to each other?
And it's weird that they're on vacation on this beautiful cruise, and here they are looking at people back from where they live. It's like, look out of here.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time. Like, you're looking back at your other place instead of where you're at.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Weird. And you're not enjoying a conversation with like me and you sitting across the table. I'd talk to you the whole time.
Yeah.
I may have to look at my phone occasionally, but people sometimes at an airport, like you said, everybody's looking down.
Oh, absolutely. There was one, I made a joke about this. I don't know if I should have, but I did it. I was having, lunch. It was like on the first day of the cruise. This is last year sometime. And the family there's a family over here, a young family, like 3 boys, parents were there. And then I didn't hear everything, but how you can hear that tone of parents yelling through their teeth, like
that's a little bit of a bit. I know exactly what you're talking about. My mom used to be like a ventriloquist. Yeah.
Yes. And
you son of a bitch, knock it off.
Yeah, and I didn't hear what they were saying, but I heard that. I'm like, oh shit, that's familiar.
Yeah.
And then I looked over just in time to see the dad slam his fist on the table, and all the silverware and glasses and stuff bounced around. And then one of the kids started crying. I'm like, oh, well, their vacation is officially started. Vacation hasn't started until dad gets pissed off that he has to slam something with his fist.
Did you talk about that on stage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do, for sure. I do the same thing with the voice. I say, I go, the way you act towards your kids is dependent on their age. Like when they're real young, you're like, okay, knock it off. And then they get to that age where you have to do the ventriloquist dad, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's where parents are just all out of patience. I'd probably if I were a parent, I would be there from day one, probably. You crying. Your mother's making your bottle.
Now my kids are, this is what I mean by age dependent. My kids are age dependent that I can go, are you fucking kidding me, in public? Because they're at an age where people go, yeah, what the hell is she thinking? But if you say that to an 8-year-old, they got to be like, dude, cover it up. God damn, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
then you get a can of Raid and shoot the camera out in the parking lot because you're going to shove them in the trunk and some guy walks by. You can't do that. It's a fort. Seat folds down. Move along. That was my bit with it.
How do you not look at your kids and go, God, you're just so dumb? You know?
Oh, well, now that you've said it out loud. No, I think, sometimes I have to look back because I do agree with what you just said because there is a lot of that. But I sometimes will look back and go, what was I like then? And then you start to go like, oh, yeah, I was a dumbass too,
I know I was. I mean, I was doing real dumb stuff. I don't know how my parents had the patience for me.
Oh, my God. One day I was looking for headphones like these,
Mm-hmm.
And I found a pair, and this part was gone. It was gone.
Oh, it's no longer a headphone.
And both of them are gone. It's just cords. And I'm walking around going, what the hell happened? So I'm talking to everybody like, what'd you do? Catch it on the corner and yank them out? Because, have you ever had that? Where you catch this thing on something and it yanks them out of your ear?
Yeah.
And my daughter's like, I don't know. And then it dawns on me.
Yeah.
This little shit wanted AirPods, so she made fake AirPods. She took
my God.
And then I couldn't yell at her because I remember one time taking my dad's garage door opener to make it look like a beeper. That was for real.
Dad,
I told Mike Merrifield about that. I told him about carrying a beeper around that was a garage door opener. So I thought to myself, I can't yell at her about that. I did the same stupid shit.
That is so funny, though. I love that. That is so funny.
But it's real. But yeah, so I do think I have to kind of put myself in their shoes. And I think as a parent, too many parents think that they were never that way. And they get, like, God, I can't believe. It's like, dude, you were a kid too. And
oh, yeah.
As easy as I think kids have technology today, I think it's really hard on them. I think the world is more judgy than it ever's been,
Yeah.
And a picture of you can go viral to millions within a second, where if you screwed up in your town, 2 kids knew about it,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. I think that's a treacherous thing, and I think that's why kids are so a little bit more on edge,
Yeah, and it's funny because it reminds me of something that, funny enough, Will Smith had said to his kid, like when I did something dumb as a kid, we didn't have the internet, so not everybody knew about it. But when you do it, the whole world knows, and it's exactly that. And then thinking about what Will Smith just did last year at the Oscars.
Oh, right.
I'm like, Jesus, he should have remembered that story that he said I think he said to Fallon or something.
Yeah. Right.
Well, it is a good point. It's like, do the stupid things without telling the world, without publicizing it.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. My kids could have done this numerous times, but we didn't have a camera that went to the internet.
Oh.
And you know what this was? The poor guy trying to eat a hamburger drunk, David Hasselhoff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even that big of a deal. We've all been there trying to eat a hamburger. It squirts out the backside, and you pick it up and re-eat it. But the only reason that went viral is because they had a camera phone, Like nobody had that at that time.
Yeah.
Think of how little of a story that would be now compared to what comes across daily on your phone.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Wild, right?
Yeah, and there's so many live streams from the cruise ships people are on, and there are so many constant uploads of pictures and just live your vacation. You don't need to tell everybody exactly what you're doing. There's just so much broadcasting. Everybody's broadcasting their life.
I'm guilty. I mean, I guess I'm guilty of it. I feel terrible. Sometimes you're like, why am I putting this out there? But then I think, does it make people want to see us when we come to town? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I think as entertainers go, we have to do it more than the average person. But there are some people who just want their lives to be online. And I'm like, why? I mean, are you so insecure that you think your life is not fascinating enough, so you have to make it make it seem more fascinating than it is. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So they're constantly like,
I always wonder when somebody gets done taking a picture, because I have seen people do this at the airport. Like a whole family be like, and make a happy face. And then 5 seconds later, dude, they're all staring at their phones, not talking to anybody.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I see that and I think like, God damn. And like, I sometimes make videos just to keep my brain, like we talked about earlier, just to keep my brain firing and moving. Because sometimes I think, man, if I don't create something, whether it's me or a music video, or I just did kind of a documentary on my grandma, just to keep doing stuff. And sometimes I don't ever put half of the shit out. But
oh yeah, that's why I draw so much too.
Yeah,
just to be creative.
It's an outlet, right?
Oh yeah, I tell people all the time, go have a creative outlet. You don't need to, you don't post everything, but I'm just saying, have a creative outlet.
Yeah,
it's so good for your mental health.
Oh, for sure. Now, what's your number one outlet for that? Is it drawing? You got guitars behind you?
Well, I love playing, and I'm not great, but I love picking at it and figuring stuff out. And if I were home more, I would draw more, and I would play more guitar.
Couldn't you take a guitar with you?
I probably could. I have a little gin Ricky here.
Is that Black Cat by?
It's just a real small. It's by Gretsch. It's a little gin Ricky. So there you go. And it's so small.
You'll have to tape that up. We're not sponsored by them.
Oh shit. So anyway, so you could, it's small enough that I could take around, but also I don't want to break it. I don't want to I'm not very good at traveling with bulky things.
I'm just waiting for it to go.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for it.
You.
Yeah, I thought I heard it. I thought I heard it.
Yeah.
Why are your guitars so close together right there?
Oh, right here? It's kind of the angle, and that's a very short wall before the other wall there, and that's an outside facing wall, and I don't like putting them there because of cold.
Yeah.
So
that's how many guitars do you have?
One. I think 11. 11 guitars.
Yeah.
3 of them are in cases that I have other places in the house here.
Yeah.
But all of them to me have a different sound. A couple of them different. Like that orange one right there.
Yeah.
When I played that on the Grand Ole Opry. When I was with the Jokers.
Cool.
So that meant a lot because somebody took a picture of me. I played one chord on it, and so and then I handed it off, and a roadie came out and grabbed it, and somebody says, "You're supposed to play it." I said, "I did." That was a G chord. I said that went out to my guitar instructor. Said I wouldn't amount to shit. I just played the Grand Ole Opry, dick.
That's funny.
I thought there's no way nobody wants to hear me play and sing anything on this stage.
Yeah.
So I just thought it'd be funny to walk out there with it and.
I think that's great. I think that's really cool.
It basically say, look, I know my role here, because that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
When I opened for those guys, I came up with this idea because, dude, it was like the lights. You're with Swardson.
Mm-hmm.
The lights go down, people go crazy, and then all of a sudden you come out and they're kind of like, what is this guy?
Yeah.
So I just made a joke that I said. I basically said I feel like John Denver walking out in front of Van Halen. I feel this, everybody. I go, when you're at a restaurant and the waiter's walking toward you and you've been sitting there a while and you're like, here he comes, it's for us. And then he walks by and you're like, shit, it's not for us. I'm basically the guy that's walking by right now. Sorry.
I love that. That's a great analogy.
Because I just wanted to let them know that I know I'm not anything here. Just enjoy it while we can. So
no, I get that. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes. You talk about Swardson, which I actually met Nick Swardson on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I just told somebody this today at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he messaged me. He goes, "Hey man, I'm on your ship," and I'm like, "What the fuck is it? Is what?"
You thought you were getting catfish for sure, didn't you?
Well, I didn't. yeah, it was from a verified Nick Swardson account
Right.
and on Instagram, and I'm like, why is Nick Swardson messaging me? I mean, I obviously know who Nick Swardson is. Like, he's great. And then, and I told a buddy this. I called another comedian, and I go, man, I've been a comic for 22 years, and I still don't know how to act when somebody famous talks to me,
Yeah.
And I've been around some really famous comics, and I sometimes I'm like, in my head, I'm like, don't say something stupid,
Right.
There's a lot of that. And then my buddy goes, just invite him to the show. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I just said, hey man, that's awesome, come to the show. And he did. He saw my show. He said, meet me afterwards. So he's like, hey man, do you want to open for me on my fall tour? You're really funny. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So we've done I think a dozen dates. The last one I did recently was, I opened for him in Vegas, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Where were you at?
I was at the Mirage.
Oh, okay.
In the big room there. And there's
so
like
that
a couple
is
thousand people there.
Whose room is that? That's that ventriloquist guy's room, right? The Terry Fader room.
I think that was. And before him, it was the two magicians with the tigers.
I was there with those things. We walked through, our kids, we walked them through the zoo area of that.
Oh, really?
Siegfried and
Roy.
Roy,
yeah.
Did I say
yeah.
Loy? Siegfried
yeah,
and
Loy. Yeah, you were thinking Myrna Loy, I think.
Yeah, Loy. My old neighbor name was Loy. So, so you got to that. I mean, how did your next show go after that? After like that conversation?
Oh, after that, next show as far as after being invited on tour, or next show after
next
Vegas?
Next show after being invited on tour.
Oh, it was just another show on the cruise ship. Like, oh, I'm killing it. I'm doing cruise ships, and I'm open for Swardson now coming up.
But I mean, when you were on stage, did you just it's like you could throw any pitch you wanted at that point because your confidence was probably like up in the air.
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
Felt like Skywalker flying down that tunnel. Like I can hit that thing, right? No matter what you threw.
It was amazing. It was a good feeling, and being like, I am so thankful. Even if I don't do any more shows with Swardson, I'm so thankful for all those experiences. Opening for him, we're at the Chicago Theater, which is a legendary theater in Chicago.
I texted you on that thing.
Yeah, I mean that, and I wish I had more time to explore the theater, but we're just there for that show.
Yeah,
but it's gorgeous. And then being in St. Louis and where else did we go?
Were you at the pageant at St. Louis? Which
is a great. Yeah,
it's like a rock venue. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Nikki Glaser came out and watched the show, and then she was hanging out backstage, and she's very sweet and kind, and some very lovely words, and it was great. And I've just been having a ball. It's weird how things happen. You know.
So can I ask you this about the St. Louis place? Did you stay at the Moon Hotel?
No, I don't remember where we were. It was a nice hotel. I remember they had a cigar bar.
So we stayed there. We stayed at this Moon Hotel right next door.
Oh, with Practical Jokers?
Yeah, and it was kind of like somebody that made it worked at NASA, so there was all this stuff in there. It was kind of cool.
Okay.
So were you more in the heart of downtown then?
Where were we? I don't even remember now. Yeah, I think we were actually.
Yeah. Don't you? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we just had a really nice hotel, and I'm not used to that either. Like being like,
I know, dude. Right?
Like the Ritz. Like the Ritz.
I know. I know.
We were at the Ritz. I'm like, what is my life right now? This is ridiculous. So I kind of understand now the whole, imposter syndrome kind of thing, where you feel like you don't deserve it, or you feel like you don't deserve to be there, and then you just kill at this show, and you're like, you know what, I'm doing great. Damn right, I deserve this. You have a good show. So, but yeah, it's like you want to get there. It makes me want to get there as a headliner, doing those shows instead of opening for someone. So,
it's a wild thing too, because like the ups and downs of, like you may have that, and then you might be in somewhere else, and you might. I remember I did a show once. There was like 3,500 people at this show with the Jokers, and the next show I did, there was 2 people, and it was in a lounge bar type thing at a casino. 2 people.
Yeah.
And you got to sit up there. I mean, I literally played my guitar. I was supposed to do hypnosis. I'm like, who am I supposed to do hypnosis with? What am I going to have these people start smoking?
Right.
Right. I mean, it was wild. And then I just basically I brought a guitar and played it. But the week before, I was like in front of 3,500 people, and then you're in front of 2. Yeah. And you know how that feels. It's such a weird up and down. And man, it takes getting used to, for sure. But
I had said that, I can't remember the gig, but I did say that. I was like, you know what? Last week I was in Vegas performing at the Mirage.
Yeah.
And now I'm here for you people. You know, it's like, you did have that sort of, and not to belittle them. I was just
no. But it's just, I mean,
it was just funny, the dichotomy of.
Well, that's a roadmap of like this whole industry, like our jobs. It's like, Mike Merrifield and both, did Dan say it? No, Gabriel Rutledge said it too. Like the old days of you're a host, you're a feature, you're a headliner, man, where are they at? I don't see it. I don't see it anymore. You don't have, places aren't open from Wednesday till Sunday. It's, it's just different, right?
Yeah, the industry on that level of things is different.
Yeah.
Now it's funny though, because the Looney Bin comedy clubs are still holding on to that format,
right?
And they're going pretty good.
I agree. I love playing those rooms because you're there for a few days, and if the first day you're kind of you've been on the stage before, but you're feeling it out. Then the rest of the days, that's how I always feel.
There's something to be said for stepping into an old comedy club that just smells like old booze and old food and
home,
and you can, you can feel like the history, and I feel that way walking into any old comedy club, and the new ones just don't cut it,
Right. They're just they're beautiful and they're set up, but man, like the old Penguins and just that place to me is like it was just that was it. Real low ceilings. You walk down the steps. Yeah. Laughs are right on top of you. I mean, people are right there.
That's what I miss about the old Crackers Comedy Club downtown. There was the Crackers Comedy Club in Indianapolis it's a different location.
Yeah.
Than where I started.
Right.
And you go upstairs and you just instantly hit with that, somebody's, there's smoking. It was before the smoking ban everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's smoking and booze. You walk through the kitchen to go to the green room, and you're sitting on this oak couch, with the brick walls, and you're like, you're in there. The guy's yelling about, who didn't clean that sock out? And it's such warm memories for me. I love that feeling walking into an old used club.
I always felt scared going places like if you did the Funny Bone. I remember when I did it when Paul was still alive. And I was gonna feature, and I was there, and in Des Moines is where I'm talking about. And I was trying to feature is what I was trying to do. So he had me come do a guest spot, and it was like on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I can't remember, but I remember I left work because that was when I still had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I drove up there as fast as I could, got there. Keep coming over to talk to me. He goes, go over there and stand and just wait, and I'll come over and get you. And then by this time, the lights have gone down, and I think Dwayne was on stage. Do you know Dwayne at all? Dwayne Clark?
I don't. I don't think I do.
He's always at the Funny Bone there, older gentleman, but he's on stage, and he's going through the stuff, and you're going to bring me up. And I still haven't talked to that guy. He said he wanted to talk to me. And I go walking over. I go, hey, did you still want to talk? And he goes, I think you're going up now, but you're not wearing that on stage, are you? As the guy's saying, Doug Thompson.
Oh, that's funny.
So I hit it, and I hit my marks, and I had a fairly good run. But he said, "Yeah, I'll give you a shot." So when I first came off, he said, "Does that stuff normally work up there?" And I was like, "Okay." And then the proverbial, "Where do you think you lost him?" He was basically throwing everything, and I didn't know what to think. I didn't know. I was pretty straightforward in my life, like.
And Paul was such a smart ass and such a fun guy.
Yeah. It just, I didn't know what to think, I was like, what the hell is happening here?
How long after had you started that you got your first feature week?
It was pretty quick, dude.
Yeah.
So what happened is I really I was on a business trip, and at that night, everybody always said you're funny. So I was in Chicago, and I went to Bill Brady's Barrel of Laughs. Okay. And I went in there with 5 minutes, and I didn't know anything about anything. They're like, okay, this guy goes here. All I could attribute it to was like a wrestling meet. You're going to go out and wrestle at this time,
Yeah.
And so I went out and did 5 minutes, and it went well. And the guy's like, hey, do you do that? Bill Brady asked me, like, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, I don't know, 6 months. I didn't know what to say. And I basically did like a play with Harry Carey directing me riding a bike, and hey, wow, the seat just went up his ass. I hear in the Windy City, Dak is getting ready to hit the jump, and I'm on this jump. I basically was telling a story with him narrating it. So then I came to Cedar Rapids and did like maybe 2 or 3 open mics. Then they had this contest. I won it. Jeff said, Jeff asked me, do you have 20 minutes? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't. And then I featured for Al Jackson, was my first guy.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was in Dubuque, above this bar. It was the old Maine, Comedy on Main, above that bar in Dubuque. Do you remember it? Before the casinos were there?
I vaguely remember that.
So I opened for Al Jackson, and that was the first.
That had to be one of Al Jackson's first headline weeks too.
It was a long time ago. It was 2008. 2008, maybe?
Okay.
2008 or 2009. I can't remember the...
Oh, okay.
I think it was...
Okay. I thought this was older. I thought this was longer ago.
No, dude, I didn't start till I was like... I'm 49 now, so I started late.
Oh, okay.
And then I left my career to do this full time.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was doing hypnosis and touring with those guys. I wasn't touring with them yet. But yeah, I left a career of 17 years in the car industry.
Wow.
17 years, dude. I mean, at the time I was running a commercial sales department, so I had a lot of years in the industry.
Yeah.
So I had to like make it work, but when did you start?
I started February 19th, 2001.
Oh my God.
That was my first time on stage.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry. Is this in your hometown or is this in a bigger town?
No, this is Crackers in Broderville in Indy.
Yeah.
And people that don't know, Broderville is just a section of Indy where like college kids hung out and a bunch of bars. And it's not quite the same today, but back then it was hopping. It was busy right next to the Vogue Theater. And that's where they had open mic. And that's back when they had 2 clubs. Crackers did.
Yeah.
And, I started, I was 23, and I was always the funny kid. I always loved comedy. Started writing jokes in college to see if I could even write a joke. And then finally I graduated college and then got a job at a newspaper. And then a buddy of mine that made friends with at the newspaper, this is 2001 now. And he finally goes, will you just fucking go do stand-up instead of talking about it? and I was like mad. I was like, fine. So I called around and I didn't even know what to ask for. And somebody said, you need to go to open mic night. And I go, oh, okay. I didn't even know the concept of an open mic night. I didn't even know that. And so I called and found one at Crackers. I signed up and went. And I'm like, they gave me 3 minutes on stage. And it was just like my first sexual experience. It changed my life. It was just, it was amazing. Like the first 2 jokes, sucked. But whatever I said, that third joke got a huge laugh. And I'm like, oh.
You know what you said. Do you remember what you said? Do you know what you said?
Not the thing that got me a laugh. I remember what sucked.
What was the one that sucked?
The best advice my dad ever gave me was wait until they smell it. It was a fart joke. And yeah, you had.
Well, wait a second. What made it funny? What made it funnier is the fact that you had to nominate what it was talking about that he was referring to. Wait till they smell it. Like we could have went anywhere else. That's what made it funny. If you would have.
Yeah. I don't know, but it did not get a laugh. And so I'm like, well, the hell with it.
What was the second one?
I don't remember. I think that was the second one. I don't remember the first one.
The first one was like you got a little dazed.
I was dressed up in my my Sunday first communion outfit, I think, but
what did you feel? I always find this interesting. What did you feel like when that first one didn't? Because we remember when you have your first really bad one. Like,
well, I was, how you just get all of a sudden you get real hot. Yes. I got real hot. I went,
it's like every bit of information in your head is being pulled through your ears at the same time. Like everything you want to say is going, no.
But I practiced my act, for a long time. And then I wrote actually 6 minutes of material. And then I got there and they said, no, you're only on 3. And I was like, oh man, they're really missing out on a really good show. I have to do my full skit. And but I was somehow able to edit it down to 3 minutes. But I don't know I don't know, but I just remember that third thing, whatever it was a huge laugh. And I was like, whoa, this is great. And it was enough to sort of spark, the whole everything. And then I was off to the races and I just kept. I had a ton of stuff I had written that I was like, it was like at first I was coming to this every open mic with new stuff every time. And then finally somebody said, well, that's great, but get your first 5 ready and then, work on the next 5 and the next 5 and so on and so forth. So, and so I was like, okay. So then, and then finally, I started getting work, 6 to 9 months. My first actual paid gig was like 6 to 9 months after I started, and it was for another comic. And I probably only got $15, but I was doing like 7 minutes at a little bar in it was called the Tavern on the Lake. I think it was in Versailles or Lawrenceburg, Indiana, something like that. And we got there, and me and a group of comics, we got there, and the guy who booked us was another comic, and he goes, hey, man, we need to find the stage. And we're like, okay, well, it should be in there, right? Well, it wasn't. It was a stage big enough for like a drum kit.
A riser.
Yeah. And so then the guy goes and finds the owner, and the owner says, yeah, the stage is outside. And he's like, well, there's only lumber out there. Yeah, you got to build it. And this is my first gig. And I'm like,
you got paid $15 to build this guy a stage. You got paid $15 to build a guy a stage.
Yeah. So we all, I didn't do shit, but I was there. But they built the stage, and I sort of helped out. And we built the stage before the show, and then we put rugs and stuff on top of the stage. But we had to put a potted plant in the back part of the stage where there was a hole, because we ran out of like boards to cover it. And the potted plant was back there like, well, do you get near that? You're near the hole. So don't go back that far. But it was amazing. It was sold out, and it was 200 people probably. It was a great show, and it did 7 minutes. I won't forget. I actually came up with a joke that I I do still to this day on stage. And it was really only something dealing with somebody in the crowd. And I'm like, oh, I just happened to remember it for another time. And then I remembered it again. And I was like, this is great. So yeah, I got $15. And then he goes, hey, why don't I pay you? This is after the show. He goes, I know 15. He goes, well, we did well. So here. And he slid me another 10. I'm like, oh, 25.
Oh my God. Is this how it works every time? Sometimes they go, Wednesday was not that good. Give us that 10 back.
Yeah, great.
I always love
it. And then my first, let me tell you this real quick. My first, you'll love this. My first
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Yeah, you know, you probably hate it. You would despise it. My first MC week ever, and for those of you that don't, MC is the first level, the first guy on stage.
Master of Ceremonies, I believe it is called.
Yeah, probably
Jeffrey.
The most important part of the show.
The worst spot.
The worst spot, but most important because he takes a bullet up there for the rest of the show. So I get them, but the headliner, my first show ever, my first club show ever is with John Fox. You remember John Fox?
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
The wasn't he there's something to do with you know what I'm talking about, mayonnaise
Drugs?
jars and stuff.
Oh yeah. He'd fill ice cube trays with pee, and then he would do stuff with mayonnaise jars. Yeah, right.
Sorry. Stroked out.
Did you get distracted with your Tetris game on there? I know all you kids play Tetris now, but
please continue.
So John Fox, and famous for never writing a joke beyond the first 2 years of his career. I don't even know that he wrote the ones he used, but he opened every show with the same joke. 2 firemen are butt fucking in a smoke-filled room. That was the first setup to the joke. Do you know the joke?
I never worked with him.
Okay, well, it was basically like fire chief walks by and says, "Damn it, Bill, you're supposed to give him mouth to mouth." He goes, "I did. How do you think this shit got started?" So that was his opening joke every single time. And
the words expressed by Jeff Bodart are not sentiments of Doug Thompson.
No, they're not in sentiment to me, but I'm just saying.
I'm kidding, dude. I don't care.
But yeah, I mean, that was every show. But yeah, the guy was a legend. I mean, he was mess.
But couldn't. That's what's so weird about today is I'd have a hard time believing he could walk into any club without getting complained. Mike Merrifield just talked about somebody kicking him out of a club. They wouldn't use him anymore because some Karens complained. A couple women complained.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. That's awful.
It is. Because like everybody wants freedom of speech. There's your freedom of speech, and then you lose your job, which I understand there's repercussions, but in our industry, it's like censorship to tell somebody you can't say that joke. Well, why? Because those people all liked it. Like Mike said, Stick your head in the room. I'm killing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be hard to do your job if one person didn't like you and could go up and say, I don't like him. Get him out of here.
Yeah. Instead of people just being like, well, I didn't like that one joke, but everything else was good.
Yeah, or even he's just not for me. Like if I eat a fucking fish taco that tastes bad, I go, I'm probably not going to get a fish taco again. I'm not going to tell everybody else they shouldn't get it. You shouldn't have that fish taco.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's the world.
Yeah. And that brings me to a new bin I wrote about art. The word art. What's art? What's considered art?
Yeah, what is considered art?
And I said, I do this, I draw, I paint, I do all kinds of stuff. This is performance art right here. Waving my arms around, but but the person who shits in a bucket every time the cymbals crash in a symphony or something, that's to me that's the art,
Yeah.
And I said something. And I said, I don't. This isn't foreshadowing. I'm not going to shit in the bucket right now. And that's just it's the prep work is what kills you. But then it leads me into like basically talking about paint pours, people who pour paint on canvas.
Yeah.
But it's a whole thing. But the point is, I say in the bit that I wrote, if you don't like that, don't watch it.
Right.
Don't see it. Just
Block it.
turn a blind eye. Whatever it is, turn it off. Don't watch it. So we can't let anybody. I don't care what side you're on. I'm just saying, like, if you're offended by something, then just what you said, he's not your cup of tea, you just don't watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right? Do you think that a lot of your material from when you started, could you do it now?
No.
Yeah.
First of all, because it's not good.
Well, have you tried this? Man, I just breathed in and coughed at the same time. That was a weird transaction.
Yeah. Well, let's
You're wiping your eye like it hit you in the face.
Yeah, let me get my glasses. I got to get my glasses here.
Have you ever taken a joke that, like, from the past and redone it?
Probably. I don't know specifically. Yeah, I think I probably
I was kind of
have,
looking for a yes or no, and then which one it was.
No,
was
yeah, I did.
What kind of juice are you into now? What juices are you liking?
Well, wait, what juices? Probably grape, apple, the classics.
All right. Please
I
continue.
used to do this thing years ago, and it was the dumbest thing. And I don't even remember the context, but I would do this,
Go
implying
again? I don't
sex.
see. Turn it the other way. Yeah. Now show us. Oh, okay. There we go. I get it now.
I would do sex. It's basically implying sex. I don't even remember what I did in that context, but it was just silly, just random silliness. And it got a laugh. And then one day I did it, and then this is again, damn near 20 years later, I did it again. I brought it back. And I'm like, what am I doing? That's dumb, but it got a laugh. And then I wrote a whole bit about it. It just went on from there, talking about, I don't think it makes that sound, by the way, blah, 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 blah. Like, I know we quarantined a while back, but I did not use that time to work on sound effects. And then I started doing other sound effects of that stuff. And now it's like this big bit I do. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing
But do you
that
like
I do. It's so silly. Yeah, it's a little dirty, but it's just so silly that I love doing it now and making the sound,
kind of like a Jonathan Winters type thing.
Yeah, probably. A little dirty, but Jonathan Winters.
Jonathan Winters was pretty bad, though. Did you know that? Oh, really?
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He was pretty controversial because he talked about homosexuality in a really bad light back then.
Really?
And I think he made fun of people with special needs and Down syndrome. That was my favorite comic. Yeah. That was my favorite comic growing up. As a matter of fact, in my office here, I have a chair. When I was down at Off the Hook, a guy brought me a chair. I believe it was Harry Anderson's, and then Jonathan Winters had signed it.
Oh, wow.
Because it says H. Anderson, and on the back it has a signature, Jonathan Winters. A guy that I met, Eli was his name at Off the Hook. Great guy. And we got to talking about comics, and he had that he bought estate sale stuff, and it was in there, and he brought it to me.
No way, that's cool.
It like choked me up. I was like, holy shit, what a nice gesture.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But like, do you have I go off on a tangent there, sorry.
No,
like
fine,
when you do jokes, and I don't think we do jokes. I tell my life. My life mirrors what other people's are, and yours mirrors, and you're just basically reading days of your life, chapters of your life, I think, when you're on stage. Would you agree that's kind of what your stuff's like too?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of a little bit of your mentality on what you see the world is.
Yeah.
Did you ever write a joke too long and thought, man, why am I doing this? Or did you ever not give one a long enough try where you thought, I should have took that farther? Did you ever feel that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's certainly bits that I've written and I'm like, I should have maybe worked harder at getting that to work, or maybe I could have expanded on it. I bounced years ago. I bounced an idea off of, Ralph Harris. You know Ralph Harris?
I don't know Ralph.
Very funny guy. Very funny guy. He's I don't remember where he's out of. But anyway, I bounced an idea off him, and it just him saying this to me made me examine how I write. And he basically said, you have a really great premise there, but the punch, it's okay, but you have so much more that you could say,
Right.
with so many different ways. And then it really made me think, like, maybe I stop too quickly, when I'm, and so now I write pages and pages of stuff.
Right.
And now I can pick out, better things. So I don't know specifically offhand of a bit that I could have taken farther. I do know this, though. There's a joke I do about joining a gym. Phil Palisol? He used to write
No, I
for,
feel like I'm getting quizzed here on all these names. I don't know them.
Well, Phil Palisol's a very funny comic. He's out of Colorado, but he does like cruise ships. He used to write for television shows and stuff like that. But anyway, and his wife's a comic, too. But I did a joke. I was working in Virginia Beach Funny Bone many years ago, and I had this joke about joining a gym. And he basically took like a word or two and flipped it. I don't remember how I was doing it originally, but the joke is I joined a gym about 9 months ago, and I've actually lost about $135. And it's such a misdirect the way he told me to do it. And I'm like, oh my God, that does so much better. And I did it that night, got a huge laugh, and I looked at him, oh my God, and I thanked him. So that's an old joke, but I still do it,
How do you put it? So can I try and see what he said and see if I want to see if I can make it?
Yeah, I don't remember what I said, but yeah, I joined a gym about 9 months ago, and I've actually lost about $135.
And that's what he said. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the joke that he basically rewrote my joke there.
Do you remember how you had it before?
No, not at all. I mean, it's been so long.
So I was thinking that was the joke that you wrote, and he wrote it a different way. I was thinking,
nope.
I mean, it's hilarious. That's what I was thinking. Like, why is he writing it a different way? And I was trying to think, how could you write it a different way than that? The only thing I could come up with was, well, $135 ago, I joined a gym. That was 9 months ago, and apparently that's the only thing I've lost at this point. But I was trying to think of how else could you say it, and that's way too fucking long.
It was so clunky what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like it was so clunky the way I was doing it. I don't remember what it was, but he just kind of rewrote the end there. And I'm like, oh wow! And it was just so simple. I could not believe I didn't see it.
Yeah. Did you ever have one that you thought was fantastic? And this, like when you wrote it, you're like, other than the tarot cards with the Garbage Pail Kids, you're get her done. Lord, I apologize. Lord, I apologize for the big wiener card. But did you ever have a joke that you thought, why this should be better than it is? Like you wrote it and you like that night you could wake up or something and you jot it down or say it into your phone and you're like, this is the one. And it just never worked. Did you ever have those? I have a few.
Oh, yeah, probably. Again, I had to think about that. Yeah.
Or are all yours landing and we just are a bunch of...
Listen, I'm very talented.
You're the Tony Gwynn of jokes.
Yeah. I get on base every time, buddy. Get on base. No, I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that I don't do anymore. Like I don't know of anything that I thought should have been funnier. I'm sure there's got to be several, but I try to block those bad memories. But I do know that there are gigs that I thought should have gone better. But
how do you feel about that when you have a bad one? How do you wear it?
Well, luckily, and I'm not bragging, but luckily those are few and far between now.
Right, I get it, and they should be.
But early on, I got booked by a local Indianapolis comic, and I can't remember his name now, but his trademark was, "What kind of show are we going to have?"
I know that guy. Yeah, I know him.
Tony something, I can't remember.
Tony Fertucci
or big somebody, I can't remember.
Big Tony.
He booked me for a gig. And he goes, "Now you're good, right?" And I go, "Yeah, I think I'm okay." And I I had to do 20 minutes. That's all he wanted me to do. And
he started off by saying, "You're good, right?"
Well, to book me, he didn't know who I was, but I came recommended or whatever.
Well, what comic's going to go, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling up there.
My mom thinks I got a tight too.
Yeah, right. Well, I did this 20 minutes. I could not get a laugh.
Oh,
and I'm
God.
like, what is going on? And I finally said to the crowd, I go, listen, you know what? As a group of people, you're really good at letting me know when you don't like something. And I got to tell you, that you don't see that a lot,
Yeah.
I'm glad you were all on the same page. Thanks for really letting me know that I need, quit comedy, something like that. But whenever I said they to them, that was the biggest laugh I got.
Yeah, when you poured your heart out.
Yeah. But then also looking
if there
back,
was a sword, you would have landed on it.
Oh, yeah. But I just could not, the classic, I could not buy a laugh. I couldn't fucking buy a laugh.
Right.
And then I got paid and I got the hell out of there before the show was over. I'm like, I got to fucking leave. That's generally what I do if I have a bad show. I got to get the hell out of there.
Oh, my God. Is there anything worse than when it's like, if you have to see people?
Yeah.
Like, you have to walk by them. I've had corporate shows corporate shows are a really tough egg because nobody's captive. They don't want to be there. You've ruined their night to talk to the people they talk to maybe once, twice a year.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go up there and tell funny jokes.
Yeah. And then corporate shows are like a minefield. Yeah,
for sure. And you're going to offend somebody in there. It's the nature of the beast. You're going to have to offend somebody.
If you're good at your job, you will.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. I usually start off with a whole thing about, hey, here's what I'm supposed to do. I understand some of you don't want to hear me right now, but you know what? And I go, if I offend you, I didn't mean to, but that just means I did my job well.
I usually look at the crowd and I go, yes, where your bonuses went. I'll do that. I literally will do that.
I would only do that in certain situations, but I've done some shows where the raffle was like a gun with a scope. I've done that. Spotting lights and shit. Like, and then you're like, I'm not probably gonna be making fun of anybody in this crowd tonight. Everybody's got a gun on them. So
I did a Republican fundraiser, and again, if you pay me, I'll come do it. I don't give a shit. But
who wouldn't?
I've done Democrat fundraisers. I've done Republican fundraisers. I don't care. But anyway, I did this Republican fundraiser, and Mike Pence was the guest speaker right before me. And I go, and we're from the same hometown. And I go, ladies and gentlemen, keep it going. Mike Pence, everybody.
You had to follow Mike Pence. Was this a Zoom call that he did, or was he in person?
He was in person.
Holy shit.
And I go, Mike Pence, everybody. A little dry, but pretty good. Mike Pence, real dry. And they didn't like that at all. And then I said something. I can't remember what else I said, but it was back when Mitt Romney was running for president. And
so that was 2016?
I think it was before
2012.
that.
2012.
Yeah, I think it was 2012. And then that's when you had the what's her face from Alaska running with
Sarah
McCain.
Palin.
And I said something about Sarah Palin and Mitt Romney. I go, man, what a year for teeth. They have such great teeth. And something because
did they like that?
No, not at all.
Oh.
And it wasn't even bad. It was just complimenting their good-looking teeth.
But they're taking it as there's no comedy there, right there.
Yeah, and
for them, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you taking digs?
I got a couple laughs, so a couple of big laughs, but then it just wasn't really gelling.
Yeah,
and they gave me the light like 15 minutes early, and And I'm like, I think I'm getting the light a little early. But I didn't care. I was still going to go. I was going to do a little longer.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to get out of here. I said, but let me tell you this. I thank you very much for allowing me to perform for you all tonight. I'm honored to be here. And to think that you guys let a Democrat perform in a Republican fundraiser, that means so much to me.
Did you really say that?
Fuck yeah, I did.
God, dude, that's fantastic.
I got like legitimate booing. And I go, oh my God, you are the most sensitive people I have ever met. and this is 2012. This is before.
You couldn't do that now. You'd probably get a ricochet hit.
No, you could not do that now. We're so divided now. And I just think the things that I was saying were just silly things.
Yeah, right.
And like, oh, he's dry. It wasn't a personal attack. It's a political speech. All political speeches are dry.
They're supposed to be.
Yeah, they're not great. So, plus, I mean, Mike Pence does flake a little bit. I mean, he is a very dry person, but
yeah,
he's
probably less dry now than he's ever been. So, like, he's dry now.
Yeah, he's probably a little less stressed in his life. I would think, but then I'm like these are just silly little nonsense jokes. I don't know what you're so getting bent out of shape for. And then I get back to the room, and he goes, I lit you early. I go, I noticed that. He goes, honestly, I think they just want to get to the raffle. I'm like, okay, whatever, man. But he paid me, and I got the hell out of there. But
yeah,
it goes back to the fact they just stick around for the raffle.
I love dude. I've told corporate shows, I'll be like, hey, do you have a raffle or like something you're doing? Well, we're giving out door prizes. I go, do it after I'm done. Or I go, at least give out like 5 and then give the big ones out after. And they're like, why?
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody will leave. Or you'll have people mad that so-and-so won it. They're not looking at you. They're pissed off. I go, just wait. A lot of times they do. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And unequivocally, dude, people are standing up, talking, leaving because they have nothing to stay for.
Yeah.
They can't stay and watch my dumb ass talk to them.
I know. And then sometimes they go, when they book you, they go, you say, how long do you want of a show? They go, about an hour. And I'm like, you don't want an hour. Nobody wants an hour.
40 to 50 is where I always land. 40 to 50.
Yeah, 40 to 50, that's tops. 50 tops.
Yeah, 50 is, I mean, you're going to have 50% of the crowd like you and 50% want it to be over.
Yeah.
Because they have kids, daycare, whatever. They want to drink. They got to take a shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're holding one in. They don't want to stand up and walk out because they just heard you blast the last 2 ladies.
I mean, nobody wants it for an hour. So I actually don't want to say 45 is tops, but
I always say 40 to 50, so it gives me that opportunity to pull that chute if you need to.
Yeah.
And do you go into material when you start corporate shows? Do you go into material?
Yeah, I go into material. I do a lot of the regular like crowd work up front.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Like what do you do for the company? Well, I usually find the boss, and I go, "What do you do?" And I go, "Is that just what you tell people, or is that like?"
I bet that's not what this guy over here thinks. The guy with
right. There's a lot of that. I mean, what's your Candy Crush high score? There's a lot of silly stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of how
stuff you can like interplay and make fun of the boss.
I always wonder how different people do it because like with hypnosis shows, it's really weird because you have to, I got to ask people to come up and get hypnotized in front of their boss, and people are always worried like they're going to say something totally stupid. So comedy, I like do what you do, a lot of crowd work. Because otherwise, I feel like you haven't earned the right to let them listen to you yet. Give me a reason to listen to you. So
right.
So do you sell your paintings? We're about. I want to keep you here forever. We're at like an hour and 30.
Yeah. I sell all my drawings, and I just was made artist of the month at a place for the month of February in Seymour, Indiana, and I took a lot of drawings over there just for her to post them, put them up on the walls, and I actually sold a few. I mean. So it's it's just a fun outlet for me. And then it got me through COVID, through pandemic. And then people were like, hey, do you sell those? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I haven't, but yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
So if they go find me on Instagram at Jeff Bodart Art, Jeff Bodart Art.
Jeff Bodart Art.
Yeah, they can see, that's just where I post all my drawings. They can see that. If they like something, they can let me know if they want it, you know.
Right on. And now, are you still out with, do you have any more remaining dates with Swardson?
Not yet. He mentioned Boston to me, but I don't know when that is.
The Wilbur?
I guess.
Probably.
I would. Yeah, I would think so. But I don't have any other dates. I know he's got some stuff right now, but he has like one or two other openers that he uses, and I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's definitely going to be getting back with me on some of the dates, but he's got to give a few to them too. So,
right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I was in that rotation thing.
Yeah.
So where can people find out more about Jeff Bodart? And Jeff, what I want to tell you is I'm going to have you back on at some point. And we're going to discuss some other things. Like I found some old pictures of you online and stuff that I think we'll have to bring into the mix next time I have you through. But where can they find out more about you? Like where you're going to be? So you're coming up in Tulsa, Wichita, then Tulsa, then is Oklahoma's gone now, right? Oklahoma City's out.
Yeah, OKC is gone. And then, but Little Rock is still there. So they have the three clubs. And they actually sold Little Rock recently to an independent, like, little group.
Yeah, I know. I talked to them.
Yeah.
That's great. Good for them.
I loved it. I love that for them, too.
Yeah. Well, they're all the same people that have been there for years, you know?
Yeah. I love those people. They're great people.
Yep. I'm the same with agreed.
Yeah, and Larry and Terry in OKC, I wish them the best. They were great for comedy. So
yeah, long time there too. So,
but yeah, if they go to jeffbodart.com, just look at my name and then put a .com afterwards, and then they'll see everything. And then there's a link to like a bunch of other links of like all of my social stuff.
Yeah, you know? That's on the website, right?
Yep, all the others. There's a link. I got a link to a link tree on there, and then
right,
yeah. Like I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and, you know, Nextdoor.
You do a lot with TikTok. What's Nextdoor?
Nextdoor is one of those apps. Like, can you believe they're putting in a roundabout over there, 20th and Broadway? You know, like
it's a complaint department for online, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a place where locals in a neighborhood can bitch about their neighborhood or city or whatever they live in.
Okay, so, I've never heard that. No, you do TikTok.
Watch out for Crazy Larry. He came up and walked in my driveway last night to get back.
I told him right now that goddamn muskrat's in his yard. I know it's got a spot there under his deck.
Yeah, it's like the Dollar Tree of the internet.
Yeah. I like it. And what's your handle on that?
Oh, I don't know when Nextdoor, but I mean,
well, you said Nextdoor, goddammit. Listen, don't be telling people
there,
shit.
I mean, that was a joke, but I'm on.
I know. Come on, dude.
You know what? Hey, you know what? This whole jokey thing that you're doing, fuck you. You know that.
TikTok, do you make a lot of are you posting a lot of material, or what are you posting on TikTok, or are you on there to watch?
Like I got a bunch of stuff that from shows on there, like little clips, and then also little just me talking here and there and me complaining or whatever, just silly things. And
right,
you know, obviously nothing that's gone viral, but you know, I think the most I had was one thing has like 5,000 views or something like that. And it was me walking out on stage of a big crowd on a cruise ship.
Right.
And I recorded myself walking out. I said, "Oh, I've done something with my life. You know, tell my parents that," something like that. But and
do you find it? And you've just put like music behind it or something, and then people go crazy, right? Like you get all these views, and you can't figure it out. But here's what I want to ask you, and I think this is an important question for people in our industry or people that wonder about it, because sometimes I'll have conversations with people and like, comedy's just great right now and it's booming. But I don't think it is for the people that have been in it, such as yourself, such as myself. I think we're doing good, But what you see, like some of the people that have now come forward, because it's weird that comedy clubs have started to kind of shutter their doors. Like Mike Merrifield, C&D rooms are gone.
Yeah.
And comedy clubs have went from Wednesday till Sunday to maybe 2 shows Friday, maybe 2 shows Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think it's weird because as we just sat here, I don't know how many shows you've done, Jeff. I know how many I do a year. But I maybe have 2 or 3 shows that I can look back in a year and go, those weren't great.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it weird that people don't know us in a level as they know some other people that have just made some viral video of them making fun of somebody in a crowd? And I go, I got fucking hundreds of these.
Yeah.
Do you find that weird?
Yeah. I mean, are you talking about the people who get viral because they've crowd work?
Or they've just become viral and they're not really like, they're not comedians per se, but they're doing something comedic and it says comedian and you'll see they have 200,000 followers and it says comedian stand up and there's not one video of them on stage ever. And you're like, well, wait, are they a stand up comic? But then they get spots before you do or I do. And you go like, God damn, it's weird. It's a weird, you have to grow into it. And I'm not like saying this sucks, but it's weird.
It's the same thing that has plagued comedy for years. And I think it always will. It's who can put butts in seats. And I don't think really any comedy club owner, I know there are definitely purists out there who only want good stand-up comics.
Right.
But at the same time, they're like, you know what? I would like to have a Tuesday night sold out for this special TikToker. You know,
for sure. Well,
so
that's what keeps the doors open for us too.
Yeah.
To work our craft, but it's just such a weird change. It's almost like a seismic, or it's big change. You know, when you start to look at the industry.
Remember when Bo Burnham became huge?
Oh yeah, yep.
And that was, I mean,
he was like 19, right? Wasn't he 19 playing a piano?
I think he was even younger than that, and he was in his parents' bedroom. I mean, he was in his bedroom in his parents' house.
Yeah.
But he was in high school playing or something like that, playing piano and stuff. And me and a lot of comics were like, you know what, that asshole is headlining, you know, a date here, our home club or whatever. But then looking back, and I talked about this before somewhere else with someone, that I'm like, you know what, that was dumb. You know, he's just getting his shot. He's just taking the opportunity any of us would take, first of all.
Right.
And
well, it's out there for all of us. We all have the same opportunity for sure.
Right. We all had the same opportunities, and he wasn't necessarily going out to go get famous. He just was making silly songs.
Right.
So, and that's why I have to remind myself, like, well, they're just, you would take the same chance. You would take the same opportunity if offered. So there's no reason for me to get mad at it, you know. Plus, what he was doing was, like I said, off nights, like a Sunday night or a Tuesday or Wednesday night. I don't think he was doing a whole weekend at a club. So it wasn't taking anything out of our pockets. And I think it only gets a little troubling when you see a club, a top club, and a bunch of dates are for TikTokers and things like that. Like, oh, that guy eats food. Or whatever.
Shoots, missiles out of his rear or whatever. It's just weird shit, But it's understandable because they're in the business to make money. And why have Jeff Bodart and Doug Thompson or whoever there that is going to maybe put some... And it's what I was saying was not... And some of that, but isn't it so weird? Like, it's such a lottery if you get a viral video and does it sustain. And I wish I knew how to find that. I mean, it's wild. Like, what goes viral and what doesn't. I find wild.
Yeah, I've never cracked the code. I mean, at all.
No.
But I also don't try as hard as other people who do create content all the time. I don't create content constantly like a lot of people do. Otherwise, I probably would have a bigger following. It's like, I don't know that because I don't like looking at myself, first of all. I just don't.
After an hour and 41 minutes of staring right at yourself this whole time on the screen, right?
Yeah, and I just, so I have like self esteem or worth issues with that, and I'm like, I don't want to. But I have a bunch of ideas for things, and
right.
But also, it's a tremendous pain in the ass to be a content creator.
I just took you off so you don't have to look anymore.
No, it's fine. But it's a lot of work, and
it is, dude.
They have to treat it like a 40-hour-a-week job, and if they're willing to put in that 40 hours to create their brand, fine.
Yeah.
Reap the benefits, I guess. I would.
It's weird because I do a lot of content, and man, sometimes it gets hits, sometimes it does. Sometimes it's weird because the stuff you do the least amount of work on blows up. Like, what the hell? Like, I have one right now. It's got 20,000 views. It's when I was in Gardner. Well, I was hanging out with James Johan, and the moon was going down over this highway. And it was a perfect night, and the moon looked huge, and there was cars going up over this hill, and you could just see them. So I took a video of that years ago, 2014. I put it to the Tatooine soundtrack, on Star Trek when they're... Dude, it got 19,000 views. I'm like, what the hell? It was such a random piece of thing that I did, and you're like, wow, how does that happen? But
I don't know. I mean, but kudos to you for even doing, creating content. So
I have to, dude. It's like since I don't drink anymore, I have to do something.
Yeah,
that was kind of my. It's kind of my driving force to not drink, if I just keep myself going, jiu-jitsu, mountain biking, snowboarding, it's to keep me away. And I don't have a struggle with like, oh my God, I got to go drink.
Yeah.
But left alone by yourself and boredom, I think sometimes you get to that. So it's just kind of a way to waste the day or numb your pain. Like, I'll do this today. So
I get that.
Do you, before I let you go, do you have anything on the horizon that you're really looking forward to? Like, do you have any big thing that you're going like, I can't wait for that? Or
I'm working on a screenplay right now, writing one, and if all goes to plan, it's going to get in some really good hands that I have a connection to.
Right on.
And it's just putting in the work.
Yeah.
To get it done.
How often do you write on it? Do you write? Do you sit down and try and write, or do you find that it's like a song? Like a song comes to you in a way like you just go, oh, I got an idea, and jot it down.
I just wait I'm like, oh, that's a good scene. That's a good idea for a scene.
Yeah.
And I'll make a note of that scene, and then I'll write it into the thing. But I found something out about myself that I need to storyboard the whole script out before I even start writing it. And I didn't do it this way that this time. Right. So I've just been writing it from my head, and I'm like, geez, that's harder. Yeah. So I'm going to have to storyboard it all out, make the decision on where it's going to go.
Yeah. Did you ever do anything? What was that one called, like FM radio or something like that you had?
Yeah, one called Morning Radio.
Morning Radio, that's it. Yeah. Now I read that one. That was really good. I thought it was.
I gotta beef it up, and I gotta rewrite some stuff on it. But I think it's also included in what I'm writing.
Yeah,
I have to have a package put together, is what I'm saying.
Right. So you're getting like a 10-movie script or 10-movie deal.
Yeah, I gotta have a TV show treatment, and I have to have a couple screenplays ready before I can present them. So
that's great. I wish you the best in that. I'm sure everybody else does. So that's like one of the things that you just want your people that are in this, that put in the work and do. It's a weird life, and I know what we all go through in this life, and you know what we go through. So I think it's cool that we can sit down and talk about it, because this is a weird Not too many people understand when you start talking, like you were talking about the closets, or whatever. The wash machine's in your green room at Little Rock. You're in there with the vacuum.
Oh, yeah.
You mind if I grab the vacuum? That's your green room, and it's not glitz, glamour, and all that shit. So I wish you the best.
No, it's not. Thanks, man.
Any words of wisdom? What kind of soup are you into?
Chili. I like chili. I don't know if that's
Is that the shit you were telling me to F off about? You can get your little jokey jokes there.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom before you head out? What's your
try
best
harder.
impression? What's your best impression?
Your best impression?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I do a pretty good Johnny Mathis. So, wonderful. Oh,
Now say
so
your-
wonderful, my love. That is dead on. That is dead on. Accurate.
Give me Luther Vandross.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You know who Luther Vandross is, right? He was like, I don't know much.
Oh, that's
That's Robbie
not Luther
Neville.
Vandross.
That's
Aaron
Robbie Neville. Aaron
you
Neville.
Dumb son of a bitch! How dare you say that? Luther Vandross. You know damn well that's Aaron Neville.
Now, just do me the favor of this, okay? Would you just do it? I want you to sing. This is how we're signing off today. I want you to try and sing.
Well, I'll do
The
anything that
opening-
gets me out of this fucking conversation.
I want you to sing the first lyrics of Your Love as Aaron Neville, the best you can.
I don't know. I'm not.
No, Josie's on a vacation far away. Just the first two lines coming over. If we don't pick up at least 3 subscribers, at least your one of your relatives has got to. They've had to have made it this far.
We brought so much joy to people right there.
I would agree. I feel like it was a good conversation. I hope you had fun. Thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. I'll kick off the line with you. And what was the words? Try harder?
Try harder. I have a tattoo.
Oh, God.
Try harder.
All right. Is that Bob and Tom on your shirt, by the way?
Yeah, but it's Bob and Tom.
How did we both decide to wear caricatures today? Let's both wear caricatures.
Oh, yeah, look at that. We did big way.
hey, man, that dude's all right, man. Kind of guy, got a mustache. It almost looks like Bob looks like Cheech in this.
A little bit. Yeah,
Doesn't
a little bit. Yeah. I think
Tom
so.
looks more like Gary Busey in that than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. Yeah, this is the guy that pays my bill once a month. Gives me a paycheck once a month. Since
Stick with that, my friend. Stick
gotta be nice
with that. Good to talk to you, buddy. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later, Jeff. Have a great night.
Buddy. Thanks. Bye.
Safe travels.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm getting you out of here, Jeff. I'm getting you out. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Running in the Dark with Doug T. Jeff Bodart. Check him out. JeffBodart.com. You can find all of his shit there. That was a good conversation. Holy shit. Adios. Thanks. That was Running in the Dark with Doug T. Hit subscribe. Hit follow. Thank you so much.